Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair, took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. How with the gang we packing? We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. Bonito, cheap, Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn petty. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed and heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities will never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my big dog walking big talk. Young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them. This is my ship. I'm a jacket like Letterman. Y'all better not let them in. They gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling. Started a chain. The cycle is heaven sent. This is from God, but I'm not your reverend. Not in the pulpit. I'm a pit bull in this element. Yeah, said you gon' pull up, then settle it. Yeah, I've been married to this hustle. This is my ring. Watch out, step in it. Yeah, and I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here. Watch out, touchdown. Pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed. The cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice. I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah. it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah.
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin kind of bing-bonging around above our, I don't want to call it local, I don't want to call it macro, we'll call it our current major range as we peaked out over here at about $110,000, almost $700, guys. Are we going to get a bigger pullback? Now, like I said yesterday, I am being a little bit picky with the trades here, waiting for some key levels to get hit. Are we on our way to that first key level before putting in a higher low and then getting another massive bounce to the upside? Are we about to dump down? Are we going to 97K? What the heck is going on with Bitcoin? We're going to break down all the key levels and my overall general thoughts on the market for you guys here on tonight's live stream. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys for being here. We got Jesse in the chat, our like police. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, I don't know. I'll give away, I don't know. We're going to give away a ton of stuff, so smash that like button if you guys appreciate the free content. We got Johnny December in the chat. What is going on? Shout out Jay Violet. What is going on, Jay? We got K Diggity in the chat. Phoebe says hi, K Diggity. She's sleeping right next to me right now. She's actually kind of lethargic today. I think she's kind of bored of the price action here. But shout out to K Diggity. What is going on? We got Nirvana in the chat. Crypto Chef. Yo, shout out to Senator Biscuit said I was number 69 likes. I was the 69th like. I don't know why I said it like that. Shout out to Senator. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Giggity. Let's see. We got Wayne Mack in the chat. What is going on? We got everybody in here today. Let's get it. Servando Estrada. What is going on, man? Welcome in. We got our mods, guys. Darren Does Things. Chemistry Bro. Rob the Crypto Snob. Tyler Durden. Crypto Anon. Crypto Billy. Dave Digital. You guys know who they are. Show them some love in the chat. If you love them as much as we do, I don't know. Drop them a birthday cake in the chat. But without further ado, guys, we got a lot to look at here on the charts. So without further ado, shout out to Coin Hoover, said waiting for the levels to come to us. Let's go. Shout out to Coin Hoover. Shout out to Coin Hoover. But guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in to Let Us Moon, baby. Shout out to JP. The charts. Here we go. All right, guys, so here we are. Bitcoin pretty much creating a little bit of a little range here between about 108 and 100, and we'll call it 110.7. Just kind of bing-bonging around up here, guys. Are we going to get a bigger pullback? Now, like I said, I am waiting for some key levels to get hit. We're going to talk about those in just a minute. But overall, we are looking at this larger volume profile with our value area low at $102,357. We have that POC sitting at 103,982. And then we have the value area high at 107,714. And obviously, guys, you know, we do have the larger volume profile here. If I hide this one and pull up the macro volume profile, you guys know we still have this key level here, which I never moved this fib back. Let me pull that back to here. But I'll actually just pull this off the chart for now. You guys know our major macro volume profile is pulled from all the way back here in November. So this is kind of the larger volume profile that I'm looking, guys, and the biggest key level on the chart, as we looked at yesterday and the day before, is going to be that $105,700 level, sitting here at that macro value area high. Now, I am hoping, you know, this could be a potential area to pull back to. Does not mean that we are guaranteed to get down there, but it is a very, very key level, as we talked about almost on every single stream. Like, you know, honestly, ever since we got close to this up here back in early May, this was the biggest key level, right? The value area high of the range is the big level that you want to remain above if you want to break out here. Once we get accepted back below that level, it does open up the chances to come back down to about $97,000. Now, again, right now, I do like the way things look overall, right? Not necessarily saying we have to bing bong to the upside right this second, but overall, things are looking pretty decent. The only thing we have on the chart going against us with that is that weekly red dot / bearish divergence looking to potentially print here. Are we going to get it? Are we going to avoid it? It's very, very hard to call right now. But as I said, you know, we have the 4-hour money flow in the green. This is coming out pretty aggressively. But if we can get another bounce to the upside, guys, just like we look at every time we see the momentum waves shaping up like this, if we're able to not get the bigger pullback, get this money flow to come into the red, if we're able to get some kind of a bounce locally here, like I said, $105,750 is that big key level. But hopefully, if we can hold some higher lows here, we might be able to escape that bigger pullback. But if we are able to do that bounce off of some of the local levels that we have down here, which I will go over in a second, it does look like we might be able to pull off a little bit of a bearish divergence here on the 4-hour time frame, which would call for a break of structure to the upside, potentially targeting the all-time high. Now, I do think overall, you know, generally, I would expect all-time highs to come in. I don't think it's the top of the bull market. I saw a couple people in the chat talking about shout out to what does that say? That says Mustafa. Shout out to Mustafa. I'll answer that question in just a second. Said, hey, bro, how do you feel about price making higher highs while the RSI is making lower highs on the weekly? Actually, that's funny. I just talked about that. Front ran you on that. But when we look at this, guys, overall, I do think, like, even if we get the bigger pullback to 105K, even if we get a bigger pullback to potentially 97K, I am not necessarily thinking it's the top of the bull market, although we do have that weekly bearish divergence potentially printing here, or looking to print. This is an overall bearish sign. We talked about this a lot yesterday, right? You have the higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves, and not only that, you can see that VWAP is attempting to come down towards that zero line, which could mean that red dot is coming sooner than later, but, money flow is still trending to the upside here. So yeah, and like we have, someone else said this in the chat as well, we don't have, there was no rate cuts yet. Like, I just don't think there's a high probability of this being the top of the market, right? And I'm actually shocked to see that people were even talking about that. But, when we look at this, anything is possible. We have to understand that bear div is there on the weekly. Could that wind up, giving us a big correction? Yes. But overall, guys, we do have a pretty, strong move to the upside here. It's okay to get a little bit of a pullback. We've talked about those lower levels many a times here. We do have the, we have the volume profile down below, the macro volume profile. And not that I would be anticipating price to come down to 88K, but we do have a lot of support in here. We have the POC of the range around 98 to 97K. That's a huge level of support, and like I said, we even have a lot of local support up here, which I'm going to go over in a second. But overall, really the only thing that we have here is that weekly red dot, and then locally we have the 16-hour red dot printing with the 1-hour money flow looking to cross over into the red, which could call for a little bit more of a correction. And if you guys tuned into the live stream last night, you will know that we were looking at a few different levels, right? We have this local volume profile. What happened? We pushed up here, flip that value area low to support, come into the POC, push into the high, and now we're kind of just bing-bonging around below that POC, below the value area high, or between the value area high and the point of control, creating a little bit of a mini volume profile up here. I could just pull that to kind of show you guys, right? We just have this little sideways range. If we got back above that value area low, potentially we can get the push to the upside. But overall, we're within this larger profile, and this is the same level we looked at yesterday, right? Down here, we have the golden pocket, value area low, and then we also have a... Where did that daily MPOC go? Give me 1 second, guys. I got to pull up this MPOC from ExoCharts real quick. Where's it at? 107.712. It's a TPOC and a VPOC. So let me just go ahead and mark that out really, really quickly. Interesting. I thought I marked this out before. All right, so let me just pull that real quick. Come on over to the daily here. Bada boom. And it is at 107.712. Bada boom. And let me just relabel that daily NPOC. There we go. Okay, so you have the daily MPOC. I was going to say, Blue Box had some other level in there. So daily MPOC, golden pocket, and the value area low. And just in terms of the local volume profile, guys, you deviate above the high. You can't get back out, back to the POC, rejected from the high, rejected from the high. If we get stuck under this point of control, this could be the next target for Bitcoin. Again, not overly, super, super bearish. We'll have to see if we get any bullish reactions there. But this will be an area I will potentially be looking for a bounce at. And again, this would not only be into a daily naked point of control golden pocket, but we'd also be at that value area low, which does make it valid to be looking for some kind of a long position, even if it is just to go back up into the POC and the value area high before a bigger breakdown. This is just generally where we're going to be looking for bounces. There's 3 major levels that I'm looking at for bounces here on this pullback if it does continue. And again, remember, we do have the 16-hour red dot printing, 1-hour money flow looking to cross over into the red. So just like a couple of days ago, we were looking for that 30-minute money flow crossover into the red right here, with that 8-hour red dot printing at the exact same time. You guys can see that right here. This is kind of what we were looking at for the continuation down, and we did get the low. We kind of put in a higher high here, but we did continue that downtrend overall with that money flow in the red. So very similar to that, this is what I would be looking at today. 16-hour red dot with the 1-hour money flow crossover into the red. If we do get that crossover into the red, we could very, very likely continue that downtrend, and that first big key level of support does sit here between about 107.715 and 107.113. Now that is kind of level number 1 that I will be looking at for a bounce. And then there's 2 other big levels that I will be watching, guys. So I do want to cover those with you. So let me hide or actually I keep the daily MPOC going here. And then also kind of an honorable mention here, guys, if I pull up that range one more time. This also would be a retest of our larger volume profile here. If I turn off those local levels, you guys can see that previous value area high / daily MPOC does sit at about 107.712, right? So not only is it a daily naked value area low or near the value area low. You have the golden pocket, daily MPOC, and then you also have the previous value area high, which would be nice if you could hold on top of that level, right? You get on here, right, retest that as support, break back out, get a bigger push to the upside. This is that next level, or the same level, just extra confluence on there. It's not just the local range value area low, it's also the retest right with perfect confluence on that daily MPOC of our previous value area. So that is really nice, right? When we're looking for trades, guys, you want to look for those areas that have a nice bit of confluence. So many reasons to look for not only a potential drop to that level, but also some potential support if we do get in there. Now, if we do continue a much bigger correction to the downside, or I wouldn't say much bigger correction, obviously, guys, we all know, we looked at this yesterday, the next big level to look at will be the, to be honest, the $105,000 macro value area high. And let me go ahead and hide this. Go ahead and hide this blue box. I'll hide the Fibonacci retracement. I'll just re-pull a fresh one so you guys can get an idea of what we're looking at there. But, you know, this is the value area high. Now, this was confluent with our anchored VWAP from the low here, which, you know, if we got a faster drop down there, you know, maybe yesterday, it would have been a really nice place to get confluence. You have the daily MPOC, the macro value area high of the range. And again, I will say this again, this is the biggest key level of support, guys. We do have some other lower levels down here that I would be interested in bounces at, but when you're looking for bounces at these lower levels, you just have to understand we are coming into resistance. Same thing that we talked about with the bounce from about 100,700. I'm sorry, 100,300. You know, you can take the bounce, right? You look for the bounce, but you just have to understand if you can't break above this value area high, it could be a bigger drop to the downside. But obviously, we did get that reclaim for the bigger rip up, which is very nice. But it's going to be the same thing. If we do get the bigger drop down there, value area high, $105,742. And we do have a little bit of confluence there as well. You do have this golden pocket. I'll be honest with you guys, this golden pocket is kind of pulled from a janky, like tiny little red candle here on a lower time frame. I don't really love this fib pull, to be honest, but you do have confluence here with the golden pocket, the value area high. We did have the anchored VWAP coming through there as well, which is obviously not the case anymore, which could be nice, right? Because if we continue down here to our first level of support, right, if we start working our way down there, that anchored VWAP could push its way into that value area high, giving us another level of confluence up here at that 107,000-ish zone. So, you know, we don't have it on here anymore, but it is nice that it is headed up towards our next key level. So again, 107,700 to about 107.7 all the way down to about 107.1. And then you do have the 786, which is an honorable mention here, which is also obviously a key level that you want to watch, but there is going to be more confluence on that golden pocket, if you ask me. So that is going to be zone number one. If we do lose that and you don't bounce off the 786, you would have to kind of reassess the situation here, because if you deviate below that volume profile, let's say you come down, whoops, go ahead and hide that, bada boom. If you do come down here, let me zoom in a bit so we can see a little better, right? If we do head down towards that, and again, you know, you lose that POC, the next anticipated price to go is going to be to fill that range in full down towards the value area low. If we start deviating below, if we were to get some kind of bullish confirmations here at about 106,450, you know, that would be looked at as a deviation below the low. That's where you want to be looking for longs, reclaim the value area, and then send it back to the upside. But again, I would say the confluence here is much better in my own personal opinion. So just keep that in mind. But if we do not hold that long zone, what I will be looking at is going to be the macro value area high, starting at about 105,750, and then you know, we do have the golden pocket confluence down there. This is really the level. I'm going to take this anchored VWAP off the chart just to clean things up. This is really going to be the level that I want to hold. You have the daily MPOC, the value area high, and because of the context of this value area high, very important to stay above. If we lose it, I would be lying if I said there was no support underneath that. The only thing I don't love, as I said, is the fact that if you do get the bounce here, you know, golden pocket, daily MPOC value area high, this is zone number one. You can kind of mark this out as its own zone, sitting between about 105,787 and about 105,325. If you lose that golden pocket, the next place for price to likely go is going to be that golden pocket, which is confluent with the daily naked point of control, and this is sitting right here between about 104.5 and 104.189. So these are kind of the big zones that I'm looking at, right? Locally, we could see a potential bounce off the value area lower, a slight deviation. If we do lose that range and we do come on down here, looking at 105.7 zone, lose that. We can look at that daily naked point of control 786. But again, if we bounce here, you're coming right into resistance, right? Doesn't mean you can't break out. You just have to please understand that you are coming up to resistance and you're longing just underneath key resistance, right? That's just like, not that you can't long, right? I never want to say just because you're below a value area high, you can't long. Just understand the importance of that resistance, right? If you break out, then that's beautiful, right? Then you can maybe, it might be the low. And then just underneath that, guys, if we pull our full golden pocket retracement here. You can see we also do have some confluence. Again, where that 786 was living is also a full golden pocket retracement. So, just a little added level of confluence. And then you have another daily naked point of control 786 getting closer to about 102.5. This is really the line in the sand. If we lose that 786, guys, we are probably on our way to 97K, in my opinion. But it is also an area where you can bounce. Technically, if you're looking for the higher low here, you can put it in on that full 786 retracement. I'm not going to lie, guys. It's going to be a difficult situation. If we get back under this range, checking for the long or looking for the longs down here is going to be a difficult situation. And I will fire on some of them, but it just might be a little bit risky. Just as we push up, I am going to be taking profits, especially if you make it to that value area high. If we are long from any of these levels, I'm going to be locking in some profit, moving my stop loss to break even in case we do get stuck under that value area high. It would call for a potential move to the $97,000 POC. But there's kind of it's nice. And then like another thing here is if I hide the macro range and we pull up this other volume profile here locally that we're looking at, the POC sits at about 104K as well, right? So that is also kind of confluent with this zone. So we have a lot of support on the way down. But once you start losing that 786, guys, I would say the move down to 97K is going to be more likely. And again, this does not mean that I am not bullish on Bitcoin. It does not mean that I don't think new all-time highs are going to come. And you can see that 786 is also perfectly confluent with that value area low here as well. So again, like to kind of simplify this stuff, I just like to look at the volume profiles, right? I'm not a big fan of longing down here right into resistance, right? I don't love long in the middle of a range. I would prefer to long at the POC golden pocket. The reason I would not mind looking for a long here is because that POC is confluent with an area that you could put a higher low in at for a potential continuation up. But at the end of the day, if we don't get the bounce off those earlier levels, like this 786 is going to be absolutely huge, right? If you don't bounce off that 786, you lose this value area. I'm looking towards 97K. Luckily, we're very far away from that. There's plenty of opportunities to get a bounce here, but I just really hope you don't have to deal with that. It's going to be a very sticky situation. It's going to be very hard to, like, we see the confirmations we're going to take the long, but it just, I don't know, it gets a little bit less confident to be like super, like, aggressively bullish, right? Because you're inside that previous value. So yeah, 107K, this is kind of probably, I would say the simplest way to look at this would just be to look at it, take off the daily MPOCs, understand where the confluence is, but just look at this like, hey, if we push down towards this value area high, that is going to be support. That is also confluent with our value area low of the range. That's zone number one, right? If we break back into this range, sure, we could be on our way to 104K, all the way down to about 102.5 towards the value area low, golden pocket 786. Pull that one more time. Boom, right? Golden pocket, 786, and then this is your big key level. So just to kind of simplify things, I would look at this range. This is probably the easiest, most simple range to look at without looking at 100 different levels, having value area highs right above you. This is probably the easier way to look at it, right? Because we see there are times where you get accepted back into the range with the golden pocket confluence on the POC. And again, don't forget, you also do have the daily MPOCs there. So there are some other levels. We have a lot of levels underneath us, to be honest, that we could look for higher lows. It just gets a little sticky because you're within previous value. But come on down here. Chances are you could work your way down towards the POC. That would be a big level. Lose that, 786 value area low. And then at that point, it's just looked at as a full volume profile, just like on the way up. Look for the full fill. This is where you want to look for longs. Not that you can't continue down from here, but, never am I looking for shorts down here, right? I'm only going to be looking for longs up there or down here. And if you can't find a long, then we just let that drop continue. But yeah, I would say this is probably the easiest volume profile to look at in this kind of sticky situation. And as far as market type for B goes, I'll be honest, guys, like some of the stuff is mixed up here, right? So I'll just give you this. Value area high sitting at 107.7. First big level to look at. $104,000 at the POC. And then the value area low sitting at 102,450. Now, when we look at market cipher B, obviously we do have that weekly bearish divergence. I won't cover that just because we just looked at it. You have the weekly bearish divergence, which is not the most bullish sign. But again, money flow coming up. Looking at the 6-day, we had that 6-day red dot, and now we're just getting a VWAP flip, 6-day green dot, right? And we still have about an hour and 52 minutes to confirm this. So, yeah, we'll see. We have the red dot confirmed. Now we have the green dot printing. We'll see if that green dot confirms. Like, this is just generally a mixed signal here. The bears try to chew it down. The bulls are just trying to push it back up. And then, yeah, your 5-day green dot is printing. Your 4-day green dot is printing. So we have a lot of high time frame green dots. It's really just that weekly, guys. It's that weekly red dot that, if we get a pullback, it's just like almost every other higher time frame is printing a green dot. The monthly Heikinashi green dot is obviously still printing with the 2-day money flow crossing over into the green. So I'll be honest, guys. Like I would say cautiously bullish, right? I am looking for longs on the dips with the open idea of that weekly bearish divergence potentially giving us the bigger drop to the downside. Definitely a bit of a sticky situation, but those are the major key levels I'm looking at. So if you want, you could just screenshot these levels, get them on your chart so you could be aware. See if we get sucked down towards that value area high, and then if we get stuck underneath there, we can look for the bigger drop. But again, like really sticky situation here. Like there's just like so many levels down here that we could potentially break out of. And it's just hard, right? Because you're just longing into resistance. Difficult situation. Let me come in and check in on chat real quick. Bada boom. Let's see. I'm way behind in chat. All right, let's see. Oh my God, chat is flying right now. Yo, Rage Against the Machine reference. What the heck is going on in chat right now? Let's see. Shout out to JR, said, before I joined CH, this is where I learned a lot. If I had to keep two communities, it would be CH and Frankie, or the CandleMafia. Thinking about subbing in the near future other than Mark. It's better people. Shout out to JR. Talking about Mark Dutch? Let's go. It's crazy, bro. Oh, shout out to Aussie, says, what are your indicators saying, market cipher and all that? Hell yeah, I guess I probably just answered that question. I front ran on that. Yeah, I will say, like, 4-hour money flow still in the green. We'll see if we can get that green dot. Like I said, if we get that green dot first, could call for a higher high to be made, right? Because if we put in a bearish divergence here, it would call for a higher high to be made, right? And technically, money flow is still in the green. It's coming out pretty aggressively, but it's really going to... If we get that green dot before this money flow crosses into the red, then I think you could just get this to drag back up. It really is going to depend here. It really is a sticky situation. I would say most of the higher time frames, 2-day money flow crossing over into the green historically has been a big signal. We talked about this yesterday. Within a bull run, right, those 2-day money flow crossovers typically indicate massive moves to the upside. Not even massive moves, just like the next leg up, right? You get a big move up, you start to consolidate. 2-day money flow crossover, big leg up, you start to consolidate, you get a little bit of a dip here, 2-day money flow crossover, next leg up, you start to consolidate, right? 2-day money flow crossover, are we going to get that next leg up? And, you have to really understand that, just because even if you are anticipating that to be the case, it doesn't necessarily have to go up in a straight line, right? We could still see, like we talked about yesterday, a little bit of turbulence down here, maybe we pull back, put in a higher low, but overall, I would say as long as we don't lose that 786 Fibonacci retracement and this value area low, I would feel pretty good, right? Like we are just looking at this from a volume profile perspective. Macro volume profile. Just take all these levels off so it doesn't confuse anybody, right? We knew once we got above this level, we would go to the POC very likely, right? We knew because daily money flow was in the green at that point that the trend was very likely to continue to the upside. And then, laws of the volume profile say flip the value area low, go to the POC. Flip the POC, go to the value area high. This is very rarely wrong, right? And then when you pair it with like, hey, your daily money flow is coming into the green. This was a difficult situation as well because this was an area where we could have put in a massive lower high for another lower low. But we were able to use the money flow to kind of avoid that confusion, right? And just say, well, hey, money flows in the green, higher chance of the continuation up, and we're also above that value area low. Flip the value POC, go to the value area high. And right now, we are just deviating outside of this range, right? So as long as we don't lose $105,000 decisively, and again, that does run a little lower to about, I would say, $102,500, only because of that 786, right? If we want to continue this uptrend, you really want to hold this, $102,500, right? You would locally want to hold that 786 to potentially continue that trend to the upside. But to look at it very simply, just understand, and this is why having the folders here are very, very nice, right? Because you could say, where's that macro profile? Boom. I know that value area high is very key. And then locally, we could just look at our smaller profile, right? And say, hey, if we get that full fill of this range, am I bearish on Bitcoin? Well, are we going to lose that 102.5 level? Maybe not. If we hold it, could be a higher low. If we lose it, at that point, I'm saying, well, hey, we're not holding the 786. That's a big, big, big key level to hold. And if you guys watch this show for any more than a day, right, you'll know that we use these golden pocket 786s to identify not only higher lows in the market, but also lower highs in the market, right? We did that to catch our short here from 109,000. Excuse me, 109,500. We caught the short from, well, we had the short from the top as well, but we also caught another short here, and it had to do with the golden pocket retracement, right? We understood money flow was coming out. The downtrend was likely to continue. Where's that lower high going to come in? Right here, and get the continuation of that downtrend. Same thing here, right? We have all those Fibonacci's that I talked about locally, but if we came all the way down here, technically, you could put the higher low and the higher high. break structure to the upside. So we'll just have to see what happens. It would be nice to not get the deep pullback, but it's important to understand where those levels are. So it's about 107.7, 105, 7, right? 107.7, 105.7, and then really the big line in the sand would be 102.5. Once we start losing that, not only are you losing the 786, you're also accepted into the larger area of value, right? You're not, at this point, you're really not playing around down here, right? You're kind of getting accepted, and then you're also losing your local value area low, which is not really what you want to do, right? If you do, you want it to be very, very quick, right? You want to kind of just like slip and then hopefully close a daily candle up there. But if you start spending a day down here, yeah, I would say 97K would be the next big target. I mean, that, and again, like, would that make me think the bear market is here? Is that going to make me mega bearish? Absolutely not, right? I would still be thinking, because in the grand scheme of things, within the larger trend, right? Now we're zooming out. We're just trying to identify this local trend. But when you zoom out to the higher time frames, pull up the daily, right? At the end of the day, you could potentially even come back down to this macro value area low and still put in the higher low and continue the overall trend. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that. I'm not calling for this, right? But it's an if this, then that situation. Hopefully we could just retest either the local value area high at 107.7, which we are approaching pretty quickly. Hopefully we can hold on top of this range. If not, we get stuck underneath. We simply look at the larger trend. The goal there would be to hold on top of this value area high. Those would be like the two easiest situations. Once we break down here, you're kind of stuck on these local levels, longing into resistance, which is possible, but just a little bit of a harder situation. That does not make me bearish over the long term, right? For the long term, we wind up going all the way to 97K, big level of support, lose that, big level down here at about $91,000 to $90,000. So yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Said fibs plus volume profiles plus money flow equals God mode. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I will never come up here, guys, and just shill something because I'm sponsored or something like that. Although we are, sometimes sponsored by certain people. But we are very picky about, who we decide to work with, right? Like, I don't ever want to shill or promote something that I don't genuinely like. I use Market Cypher every single day. I use Lux Algo every single day, right? In certain situations, sometimes I take Market Cypher B off the chart. And I was actually looking at Lux Algo recently. And, this is another reason why we were looking, if we pull up the daily time frame, right, at 100,000, where we got this SFP, right, 100,700. This is not only looked at as, I can't really draw the line, but this SFP down here at about $100,000, right, 100,700. We were looking at the liquidity sitting down there. It's also the daily smart trail, right? But at the end of the day, my whole point is, if I didn't use this stuff, I would not promote it, right? It's kind of hard to promote something that you don't find useful. It's so much easier to promote something that you use every day and you can actually find value in. So yeah, we never shill it. You can get discounts if you use our links to get the indicators, but Market Cypher B and Lux Algo are absolutely goated, especially when you pair them with the volume profiles, which are free on TradingView. It's really all you need, honestly. And if you can't afford premium indicators, it does not mean that you cannot figure out the charts. You can't trade. It does not mean that at all. There's, if you can't get Market Cypher B, I would recommend, right, one of the biggest things, not that you can really replace money flow with an RSI, but, a big thing that I use the Market Cypher for is divergences, right? Divergences with money flow. That's kind of like the double, like, that's the beauty of Market Cypher is the money flow keeps you on the right side of the trend. But when you're looking for divergences, like, you could find divergences on an RSI. The RSI is cheap. RSI is free, not cheap. It's free, right? And the volume profiles. And at the end of the day, guys, my major, like, kind of strategy, right? I am pretty much a volume profile trader. I would say that's like a majority of my strategy, right? So when you're inside of a range, really, like, one of the easiest things that you can look for is a bearish divergence above the value area high, right? You also have to understand it's not as easy as just shorting a bear div above a value area high, but I would argue if you go back and back test that, the win rate on that is actually kind of crazy. But, you deviate above value. This is looked at as overvalued asset, right? An expensive asset. Inside the volume profile is the fair value. So when you deviate above, and you could find short confirmations, such as a bearish divergence, I would like to find a couple of entry confirmations. You want, like, multiple things pointing in the same direction. But at the end of the day, if you get a bear div up here, maybe you don't know if money flow is coming out. But if you get a bearish divergence up here, and you get stuck back inside this value area high, there's a very high probability that you come back to the POC And then once you lose the POC, the next likely place for price to go is the value area low. And you could find the divergences on an RSI. You could find SFPs. You don't need an indicator to find SFPs if you know what to look for on the candlestick pattern. Any kind. You might look at an entry confirmation that I don't even pay attention to, right? But if it happens outside of value and it's pointing in the direction of value, there's a very high probability. And just the idea that these POCs act as a magnet for price, these highest volume nodes act as a magnet for price. You could do this all with free stuff. Volume profile is free. SFPs are free, right? Bearish divergences are free because you could use the RSI. And if you don't know how to use any of this, you could use my free indicator made by LuxAlgo, but it's 100% free. No email, none of that garbage, right? Just type in my name into TradingView, Frankie Candles Essentials, and it is literally a fixed range volume profile that points out those entry confirmations for you, right? I'm not going to go too far into this because I cover it. I have a video on the channel if you want to check out my my indicator. Again, free. I literally have nothing to gain from this. We made this in collaboration with LuxAlgo just to help out the community. You can see you get above, bearish divergence, you get the sauce can confirmation, get back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low, right? Same thing here, bearish divergence, back to the POC, back to the low. And this is without changing any settings, right? I could probably change the settings here. Whatever you use for your divergences, right? You could use Market Cipher B, oscillator, external, come on down to... external oscillator, where's it at? Bear with me. I always have trouble finding this. Sometimes I find it right away. Blue wave, there we go. And then you can see here, what happened down here? You're outside of value. This is a cheap asset. You're going to be wanting to look for bounces here when everybody is scared. Why? Because you're getting a bullish confirmation. You don't want to short on a bullish confirmation. You have lower lows on your price action marked out by the indicator, higher lows on your momentum waves. Sauce can prints letting you know you're getting those bullish confirmations outside of value. What happens? You get back into the range, back to the POC, back to the high for another short setup, right? You can't just short this and long this as a buy and sell indicator. Again, you have to understand how to read the charts. You want to understand a little bit, but this can just kind of help simplify that kind of trading strategy, right? And again, it's 100% free, literally zero to gain from that. And a lot of people like it. A lot of people call it a money printer. But anyway, let's continue on. Everyone hating on the RSI is crazy. Just got to know how to read it. Yeah, shout out to Nicholas. A lot of people, when they look at the RSI, I remember this. I remember this in the beginning of my trading strategy, in the beginning of my trading career, right? Like, I remember learning about the RSI back in the day and just being like, oh my God, I'll just wait for it to be overbought and sell. Wait for it to be oversold and buy, right? You can't use it like that, right? You can remain oversold for a long period of time, and you can see here, you're oversold here. If you bought, sure, you came up a little bit, but if you were paying attention to your market structure, you understood how to read the charts, you would know that the continuation down was going to be very likely, right? Even though the RSI is coming up. But when you see the actual divergences with the lower lows on your price action and the higher lows on your momentum waves or on your RSI, same thing with the momentum waves. If I open up Market Cipher B, you'll see the same thing, right? Higher highs, right? It's the same thing. You're just looking for a divergence. This is how you want to use the RSI. You never want to just like buy oversold or sell overbought. It'll never work, right? Maybe once in a while it'll work, but yeah, you just got to know how to read it and what to look for. But anyway, let's see. Yo, shout out to Perry says, man, Frankie, you do nail it. Scared when too many people find your channel. Well, shout out to Perry. Well, hey, when too many people find us, we're not going to stop. So we'll always be here for you, bro. Don't you worry. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Gen Z. RSI, that's old school. We got Market Cipher B now. Absolutely. I would say, again, the addition of the money flow really does help you out here. But again, if you can't afford markets, if you want to save money, you could use our link. But, if you can't afford premium indicators, like, don't think that you can't start trading or start learning. Or even, there's people that don't use any indicators, right? You could just trade raw price action. So don't let that hold you back. We'd probably get a lot more clicks on our links if we shield it as like, you need to do this to make money, but I just can't do that, right? It's just like disingenuous and, it's not how I am. But anyway, great explanation, brother. Shout out to Perry. Absolutely, bro. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue on here, guys, as we continue to attempt to push down here. Let me just see what we got here locally. All right, pushing into the low here. We do have actually, let me pull up the heat map real quick. Do I have it open already? I think I do. Let me update this real quick. We'll take a look at the liquidation heat map, and then we will move on to some altcoins. Come on, heat map. Hey, is Mrs. Candles here? Hang on, let's call Mrs. Candles real quick. Yeah, okay, so let me just pull this up real quick. Here's a liquidation heat map. Get out of here. Yeah, I mean, 108, 154. We do have a little bit of liquidity down here. All right, we do have a little liquidity below that low. Let's see. Runs us down to about 107.4. Yeah, we do have some liquidity down here. Golden pocket retracement. But like I said, 107.7 is really the bigger level here, in my opinion. Let me see if... yeah, shout out to Michael S. said if you wait till Christmas or around Black Friday, Market Cypher, all the indicators, all the trading tools give amazing, amazing deals during Black Friday. It's crazy. You can get them for like half off almost, or maybe even more. All right. I'm pinging Mrs. Candles. Let's see. Yeah, 50% discount on Market Cypher for Black Friday is crazy. Lux Algo does something very similar. TradingView does something very similar. It's like they just give everything away on Black Friday. It's crazy. I wish the school system taught TA in high school instead of Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, shout out to Silent Q. I agree, bro. Listen, I'm not someone who's going to tell anyone, like, don't go to college. It's stupid, right? I went to college. I wouldn't take it back, but, you know, I didn't need college to do what I'm doing now, right? I'm definitely wouldn't be where I am doing what I was doing, although I did love it. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. School's not, that's how I always tell people, right? If I could do this, you can do this. I was not special. I did not like school. I wasn't good at math. I wasn't, you know, I was just, yeah, I was like the black sheep. I was just like, Frankie, when are you going to get a real job? Never. Not that I'm hating on real jobs. If you love your job, that's okay. I think people hate on 9-to-5s more than they should, right? I don't think everybody wants, you know, I don't think trading's for everybody, right? I would definitely be the first person to say that. Trading is definitely not for everybody, right? I would say it's not for most people, right? Most people won't have the perseverance, the self-discipline to actually become a profitable trader, to be honest with you. But that's why, you know, you have to put in the work. Most people just want to get rich overnight. They want to hit one big trade, make $1 million overnight, change their life overnight. That is not where the money is. The money is in the consistent gains over time. You might get lucky, you might hit a big trade, but if you keep trading in that way and you're gambling, you're going to lose more than you win over time. But not a lot of people want to put that time and work in. But the Mafia will. I know the Mafia will because I see you guys show up every single day. All right, let's see. Shout out to Locks Media. Said, what do you study in college? Kind of had a weird college experience, right? So, like, I studied TV and film production, but I've been working in TV since I was 18. So I kind of went to college and knew everything. And I would, like, yeah, it was just like they were teaching stuff, and I would be like, the professor's not even right. That's not how it works. I work in TV. It's not so it's like I always kind of felt like I was getting scanned by college, to be honest with you. And looking back, I kind of did. It's crazy. But that's not the case for everyone. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you have to go to school, right? Obviously. You have to be reasonable. But let's see. We speak the same language. It's for the passion-minded. Yeah, shout out to Perry. Absolutely. You have to be obsessed with things. I've been like that my whole life. I'm very obsessive. I find something, and I don't think I would have been able to make it this far if I wasn't obsessed, right? Most people, if you're not obsessed with it, if you don't want it that bad, you're going to get stopped out of a bunch of trades. You're going to go through a hard journey in trading, no matter what. Not a lot of people are going to tell you this, right? A lot of people are just going to say, oh, sign up here, do this, buy this indicator, buy my course, right? Be rich overnight. I can't do that, right? Because this is possible. You can make money trading. You can get rich trading, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's 100% not going to be easy. Are you willing to put in the work and fail and make mistakes and lose money and pay that market tuition and still stick with it and make progress over time? That's what's gonna separate you from the rest. That's why the failure rate in trading is so high, right? It's because I don't think a lot of people have the perseverance or the grit to do it. But I know the Mafia does. But anyway, let's continue on here, and hopefully let's help you guys expedite your process of trading and learning TA. And we try to make it as simple as possible. And I'll be honest, these market conditions are not the simplest, right? Like sometimes it's very clear. You're in a clean range. These are not the easiest market conditions by any means. So it's just kind of confusing right now. But we'll keep an eye here on Bitcoin and see if, we'll see if we make our way down there to the 107.7 zone, maybe on the live stream. If so, we can look to see if we can get a bounce. But let's go ahead and jump into some altcoins as well. I'm going to set some alerts here. I'm actually going to set an alert right here. I'm going to set an alert at the low here in case we break it. and then we'll come back to this in a minute. But I do want to cover some of these altcoins as well, specifically Ethereum, Solana, and then we'll take some requests from chat as well. I went to film school too. Shout out to Lots Media. I could tell by your name. I was like, I bet you he works in TV or something. I went to film school too. Nice to know you're familiar with the shot list for Citizen Kane as well. Yeah, shout out to Lots Media. Yeah, it's like they kind of. Yeah, I don't know. If you're out there and you're doing some kind of like a trade like that or something, I don't know if you would call it a trade, but just learn on the job. I learned most of the stuff I knew in TV from being on the job. I learned more on my first commercial shoot than I did in my 4 years of college. You should look into schools in the Rockefellers. Yeah, shout out to David M. I mean, here's the thing too, right? Like, you don't need a degree to do this. There's no salary cap, right? Now, obviously, you have to put in the time. Like, sometimes people see like, even like family. Like, I have some family that is like, man, I got to start doing this. Like, you're making money, bro. And it's like, you didn't see all the times I was losing money, though, right? Like, and it's not just always you're winning every trade, right? You have bad weeks. I still sometimes have bad weeks where I get stopped out. I miss a trade, something like that. But everyone just sees the end result, right? They just see like, oh, man, you made that much money in a day? It's like, dang, I make that in a week. I make that in a month, whatever it is, right? And it's like, yeah, but I can't just like explain to you. There's no secret. It's not like, oh, just look for this and this, and then you'll make that money, right? There's no way to avoid the hardships of learning how to trade. The long way is there's no shortcut. The long way is the shortest way. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and continue on here. I just like to be fully transparent with the Mafia guys. I like to keep it real here. I'm never gonna shill get rich quick schemes. Say you get rich, but it's definitely not gonna be easy or quick. But anyway, let's continue on here. Taking a look at Ethereum. Shout out to Crypto Independent. Bought Bitcoin and retired after 1 year. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Independent. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. But anyway. Stack your long-term bag first, then learn trading. Guaranteed to be rich while you're learning trading. Yeah, shout out to Gen Z. That's pretty much how I did it, right? It's like I had my 90% of my money, even today, 90% of my capital is in long-term spot bags, right? Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, like high market cap coins that I expect to be around for a long time. Then you take a small portion of your capital and you trade that and you learn with it. And you're probably going to lose it at first, right? So start small. And then as you develop that skill of trading, right, and you start to slowly get profitable, you start to slowly make money, right, then you can start to roll that money into your long-term bags, right? I definitely would never recommend. I have friends come to me all the time like, hey, man, like I bought, I have some friends who have some money and they're like, hey, man, I bought some Bitcoin, and I'm thinking about just, like, watching the charts and, like, selling the tops and buying the lows. And I'm like, do not do that with your whole spot bag. Please, for the love of God, do not do that. And then they never listen to me, and then they come back, and they're like, you were right, dude. I'm just going to hold most of it, and then I'll just play around with trading and learn. I'm like, there you go. And then you're not as, like, you have your spot bags that are going to make you money over time. You're not, like, dying to get rich overnight trying to day trade. But, yeah. Let's see. That's why I'm here, baby. No BS. Shout out to Pennywise. Never. The only time I will ever BS is when I say Mrs. Candles is not plastic. I mean, never mind. Anyway, let's continue on here. Okay, it's going to make you big money if you have conviction and can hold through the big dips. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Independent, 100%. Most people, even with buying altcoins, right, they're like, I didn't get rich overnight. What happened? It's like, take a deep breath. When in doubt, zoom out. Taking a look at Ethereum here, guys. We did push up into our daily level. Not going to lie. All right, we got the 2-day money flow crossover here starting to pop up with the monthly Heikin-Ashi green dot, which is actually about to print as well, right? Like, these are just historically very, very nice bottom signals. What happened back here? Monthly green dot. It's not going to be probably perfectly spot on. I'll put it on the money flow crossover, and then we'll go back to the monthly here. Monthly green dot printing. At the same time, you have the 2-day money flow crossover into the green. Reclaim value area low, big move up. Not something to joke about with these 2-day money flow crossovers. Every time you get one, you get the big move to the upside. This one crossed over right before the big move to the value area high and above. And now we are potentially seeing, or we are seeing, that next money flow crossover on a potential monthly green dot incoming. If we get that monthly green dot, guys, and it confirms, it could be the next leg up. Doesn't mean there's not going to be turbulence on the way, right? Doesn't mean we can't pull back, but doesn't look that bad, right? Even if we did get bigger pullbacks here, you guys know, stay above this POC, right? This daily MPOC is now tapped, but stay above this point of control of the range, as we've been saying throughout this entire range, right? We get a pull back to the daily MPOC, hold this zone, could be looking up towards our next target, which is the daily at 28.19. Where are we sitting? Right here, right? Once we get above this daily, and again, over the long term, the bigger target to the upside is between 3,000 and 3,150. Not too much to update here. I'll just give you like the local update, the lower time frames. Yeah, I mean, you don't have a massive 4-hour bear div with money flow coming out. You do have a 1-hour bearish divergences into your support, so could you get a little bit of a pullback from that? Yes. Into your daily level, higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. Check that 16-hour red dot, potentially incoming here, right? So if you do get that 16-hour red dot, maybe with the 1-hour money flow crossover into the red, you can look for the continuation down. Doesn't mean bear market, right? But I'll give you some key local levels of support in case we do get the bounce. So let's pull a fib here real quick. Let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can find some confluence here. I'll pull it from the impulse to the high. Yeah, I mean, I would say that POC's got some confluence on the point of control of the range. The POC has confluence with that golden pocket. I mean, just naturally. Yeah, I mean, I would look at this value area high. This range underneath you would be, if you get a bigger pullback here, you would hope to hold on top of that value area high. If you get accepted underneath, maybe you get a bounce off the point of control, again, because you do have the golden pocket there, which is an area where you could put a higher low in at. So I would just look at your golden pocket retracement, and to simplify things, I would just look at this volume profile. If you don't bounce off the value area high, you get stuck underneath, you're probably going down towards that POC. Lose that POC, you may be on your way to the value area low, in which case you would just re-respect this range. But overall, long term, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little bit of a pullback here, especially if you get the 16-hour red dot. But I don't know. Overall, it doesn't look that bad, guys. Like, we're above the macro value area low. We're above the POC. At this point, the next highest probability is that you do eventually get up into that golden pocket. The question is, are you going to get the pullback first? And if you're going to be looking for higher lows and higher highs, you're simply going to be looking at your Fibonacci retracements. And if you could get that confluence in on your volume profile, that would be nice as well. So I would say the biggest levels of support right now locally for Ethereum would be like the point of control, golden pocket, and then you also have the 786 value area low, right? So hopefully, if you do come down, you can get the bounce off the value area high. If not, though, you still have support here. And then once you lose that golden pocket, it's like, all right, we're inside the volume profile, look to go to the low, and then you could just treat that as a typical volume profile, looking for longs at the low. It's not until we lose the point of control of the larger range, right? It's not until we lose 2320 that I'm looking for a bigger move down towards the value area low, in which case it's still a healthy pullback, in my opinion, right? I have to move this fib up just a little bit. Does make that zone a little bit bigger. But even if we got to move down to that value area low, this is still a golden pocket retracement, which could be an area to put a higher low and a higher high. But right now, with this little breakout here, doesn't look too bad for a potential continuation up, in my opinion. And if we do get the pullback locally, just look for those higher low scenarios. It's not until, even if you have to come back and test the POC, it's not until we lose that POC where I'm looking lower. And even then, it's not like bear market situation, right? So it's going to be looking for, zoom out, right? We've already gotten a pretty big move up since April, right? 100%. Not too shabby. Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's see. Shout out to XRP88 says, I already liked it. I can't like it anymore. Smash that like button if you guys have not already. It helps support the channel and push it out into the algorithm so we can grow the CandleMafia into an unstoppable force. More unstoppable than it already is. I feel like we kind of already are unstoppable. Let's see. Shout out to Base Bailey. What is going on? Said, Frankie, what did I miss? Was outside working on my truck. Base Bailey, it's not good, bro. We're going to zero. Bitcoin is going to zero. It's final. It's final, dude. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Base Bailey. What's going on, bro? Hope your truck's okay. Yeah, shout out to Dar says people getting really bearish is actually a good sign. Yeah, I mean, listen. When there's a reason to get bearish, guys, I will be bearish, right? I always, this is the one thing I hate about what we have to do here is like, I usually have to tell people what they don't think, right? Like down here, no bear market, right? I did not think this was a bear market. People, in a weird way, you'd think they would like to hear that. Now I know the Mafia knows, but like when you get these big moves, you get a lot of new people to come in and they're like, this guy's an idiot. It's coming down. And he's saying it's going back up. And it's like, we're obviously bearish. And it's like, so I have to be like, I don't think this is the bear market when everyone screams bear market. And then, like, when we're up here and we get a little pullback, we have to be like, everyone's like, oh, my God, is it all over? And I'm like, dude, we might pull back to 75K, and I don't think it'll be over. So if you're freaking out about that, right, you got to, like, zoom out. And, again, it's very clear here. And if you watch the channel, if you watch our tutorials, if you haven't, please do because it'll help you understand this so you're not scared on big dumps or big pumps. You're not getting FOMO. Like, the most clear bullish trend here. We broke no market structure. I say this almost every day because I think it's important, right? Clear bullish trend. We wiggle around in here, that's okay. We come down here, that's okay, right? We could still continue that trend. It's not until we lose about, I would say, I think it's 88.2 is the macro 786. It's not until we lose the, 82K, right? Once you start breaking down below that, right, then you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, maybe now this is something to look at as a bigger move down, right? You're looking at this and you're saying to yourself, well, hey, if I'm looking for the full golden pocket retracement, this would be the area to put the higher low in before breaking structure to the upside again. If we break below that, hey, then maybe we're going to go lower, right? And then even in that case, right, you could potentially still get bounces off this structure down here. It was the same thing when we looked at the golden pot. That's part of the reason why I didn't think it was the bear market here. Why? Because we had key levels of support. If we were looking for a higher low and another bounce to the upside, where was that likely to come in at? Right here. And not only did we push down there, we got the bullish confirmations. We got the bull divs with the daily money flow coming up, which was exactly what we were looking at all the way back in February in the premium Discord. And we literally took a while to get down there, but we did get that to happen. And we looked for all-time highs, and we got them. Hopefully, this is not the top forever. That would be miserable. Like the most lackluster all-time high ever. But anyway, full moon pumped us 3 days earlier, then teased us with a slight dump. Shout out to Coin Watcher. Yeah, apparently, the full moon. Yo, shout out to Giggle Longbottom said, "Are Frankie candles a thing? Are Frankie candles a thing? I bet they never tunnel." Shout out to Giggle Longbottom. I'll tell you this: if I ever made a candle, I would have Tony, the engineer, on. They would not tunnel because Tony would be in charge of making them not tunnel, and Tony would make sure that was the case. Let's see. How high do you think H-bar is going to get in this run? Shout out to David M. Let's take a quick look at H-bar. I'm just going to free ball some of these altcoins, guys. We're just going to freestyle tonight. We're going to freestyle. But let's take a look at H-bar. What is our H-bar chart? That's the I don't think this is it. Where's our H-bar chart? H-bar chart. Might be on this chart. Am I going to make... I don't want to have to make a new one. Come on. Let's see. All right, well, I'll just pull one of these up because we have some kind of analysis on some of them. Okay, this one will do. All right, so overall, I mean, look at this. Look at this rip, man. So you have your bear market range. So this is what I would look at long term, right? So I'll just do some high time frame analysis on this for H-bar because you asked for the a potential all-time high prediction. Let's do it, right? So you have your lower range, right? This is your bear market range. This is the fair value. And what do we say to ourselves, right? Well, you say this is fair value. When we impulse out of this fair value, where is price likely to go? Price is very likely to seek out previous value. So when you impulse out here, very naturally your target is this range. And you can see you come up there and respect it perfectly. At this point, right, we have lost the upper range, which would make you think, well, hey, aren't we going to get attracted back into this range? Well, it could be possible, but in this case, right, I would say it is non-possible to create new value, right? We've come down, we've retested these highs, we flipped that resistance to support, we're coming back down to retest it, so we could be building out new value down here. And, I wouldn't necessarily say that we are definitely going to get sucked down to this level, right? Why do I say that? Well, if we pull our fib from the high to the low, you can see if we are going to look for a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, this golden pocket 786 retracement would be the level I would hope to hold. Once you lose that 786, it's like, well, hey, probably going down here. If you don't hold the value area high, then maybe you come back into this range. But right now, it's like, hey, you're bouncing off some pretty key levels. Let's see, pull it here. Yeah, I mean, that's your full retracement. I guess you could even pull it down to here if you wanted to go real crazy. But, I mean, if we could get this stuff to continue up, 3-day money flow crossing over into the red, that's kind of conflicting because your 2-day money flow is trying to come up like a lot of other things. But, I mean, your doorway to higher prices is 241, right? Get above there, then you can look to come back and respect this range. And, yes, if you get back in this range, it will very likely get respected just like it did here, right? That range is pulled all the way back here from 2022. When we re-entered it, you could see not only is the whole area respected, but if you come on down to a lower time frame, you could just see how tactical these levels are, right? If I went down to a low enough time frame, you could probably see the flip of value area low, right? But you flip this, POC, value area high. Bounce off the POC, back to the high, back to the low. Back to the POC, back to the low, back to the POC. You can see how these levels are respected. So very likely, if we do get back accepted back in here, we'll open up the door to come back up to the value area high and obviously the POC. And then we can look for that to just kind of be our local range. Locally, I mean, it's kind of hard. You don't really have a clean profile here, to be quite honest. Not one that I would really like. And maybe something like this. Low, high, POC, back above the high, get accepted in, POC low. So yeah, I would say locally, if you want to stay back, if you want to stay inside this range, right? We came down to the value area low with bullish confirmations, lower lows, higher lows, back into the range, flip the POC. So right now, I would say, let's pull the full fib here. Yeah, I mean, these would be your local levels that I would look at, right? So your value area low is sitting here at 16 cents. Your POC is sitting right here at 17 cents. And then your value area high is sitting right here at 20 cents. So if you hold above the POC, doorway to the value area high is open. If you lose that POC, I would still say that the 786, I mean, you have your golden pocket. I would say this zone is key to hold. If you lose this, you're just looking at this as a typical volume profile, right? You can look for your long at the value area low potentially. Could put in the higher low there to continue with the overall uptrend. But it's not until you lose this value area low 786 where I would be looking for a bigger drop down. And at the end of the day, if you look on a higher time frame or, a little bit more zoomed out, yeah, like this value area low, macro golden pocket retracement. So I would say right now, your biggest level to hold would be the value area low, golden pocket of this entire move to the upside. I wish I could find my other H-bar chart because this was all marked out much cleaner. Yeah, you can see we broke back down below that anchored VWAP. You would really want to get back above that as well. But I would say right here, sitting between about 16 cents, right? Like hold above that. You're still within your upper profile, which is very nice, right? So there you go. This is the profile I would look at. If you deviate below this range once again, next key level would be about 14 cents, 0.146 at the 786. Once you lose that, I mean, you might be potentially. It's a little bit of a whipsaw wick there. Yeah, you could potentially come up in this, somewhat into this stuff. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But those are the key levels down below on H-bar. Value area low golden pocket, 786, 14 cents. And then all-time highs, I mean, listen. If we pull from the top here, whoops. I'll just give you the fib retracement levels. Let's pull it to the low. Yeah, the one thing here is like this is a pretty aggressive reaction at the macro golden pocket. If you want all-time highs, the doorway to all-time highs is 100% going to be 46 cents, right? But if you do get above that level, once you crack 46 cents, you could potentially look up to your next Fibonacci retracements. And, which one of these is it going to stall out and top out in? I don't know. Between 70 and 91 cents is your first big zone. So, yeah, I mean, I would definitely be looking up there at first, between 70 and 91 cents. At that, and there is Bitcoin getting a crack of the low, a reclaim of the wick low, sweeping the liquidity. Let's see what happens. I'll come back in and check in on that in a second. But, yeah, I mean, I would say first major target in the next, if we do get alt season to come in at some point soon, I would say the next big place to look at would be between about 91 and 70 cents. That would be the big level, right? If you get up there, depending on what the rest of the market looks like, depending on the environment that we're in, right? Does it look like it's topping out, etc.? This is where I would make the decision. I would definitely be taking profits on the way up. This would be a big level to potentially take some money off the table, depending on where your entry is, right? If you were accumulating in the bear market, let's just say you got an entry in the middle of this range somewhere, right? You're already up 1,100%. Not a bad place to take some profit if you can make it up there, right? And then if it looks good there, I would look up towards about $1.26 to $1.45. And then above that, your last level here, based off this retracement level, is at about almost $2. That does not mean I would hold my bag until we hit $2, right? You know, if it looks bearish here, I would be wrapping it up, taking profit. You know, it's not until we see the information on the chart where we can anticipate if it's going to be a potential continuation up. So yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with the arbitrary price predictions, right? It's like, could H bar go to $2? Sure. But it does not, there's no way to guarantee that thing is going to go to $2 in this bull run, right? Like, you could just say that's one of the targets, but it's impossible to say it's going to $2. There is some level of gambling when you say that, right? As long as you understand that, that's okay. But the way I trade, right, like, think about in the previous bull market, right? Pull up Bitcoin. Right? How many people were looking for 100K? That was like the meme that cycle. Was like 100K incoming, 100K incoming, 100K incoming. When you start to look at that and understanding that you have massive bearish divergences, massive money flow tanking to the downside, massive bear flag, right? Like, you had so many things here. You had social sentiment bearish divergences, massive peak in search terms for Bitcoin altcoins up here. On the higher high, you had a much lower interest at the high. There was an SFP up here. Like, so many things. Also, enough time, like, cycle-wise, it was about time to top out. But everybody says super cycle, super cycle, super cycle. This is the never-ending bull run. It's going to 100K. You're a moron if you think it's going down. But what happens? You get the bear market to come in. So that's why I say, you know, could you target 100K? Could Bitcoin have gone to 100K this cycle? Maybe, right? But, you know, when you get those signs, chances are Bitcoin's probably not going to 100K, right? And if you pull this, right, if I were going to be looking at those same fib levels, right, from the high of the bull market, right, you would say to yourself, well, hey, my last extension level is at about 62,977. There was not a guarantee you were going to get up here, but as you assess price, it's like, well, hey, look at money flow. Money flow on the weekly is massively in the green. I think we can continue up. Maybe you take a little profit here, and then you get another move up, right? So there's no guarantee you get up to those levels, but you really have to assess price on the way up. Same thing we did here. Actually, I do believe I have this chart right here, right? I'll turn off these spider lines. Actually, I'll keep them on. For Bitcoin, right, within the bull market, right, our first target, I'll actually turn off the spider line so it's not super messy. You know, for our bull market predictions this cycle, whoops, first major target was between $91,000 and $102,000. I have a pre-record on the channel where we looked at this. That was target number one. Then we got a big correction. Right? Now we're potentially looking to get above this fib level, in which case would open up the door to between $120,000 and $137,000. Target number two, major target number two, is $137K for me. If it looks like it's topping out here, I will act accordingly, right? I'm not just going to hold, and like, where's this next target, right? The final target here on the fib levels is at about $209,000. Just because we hit the final fib target here does not mean you have to come here. That's not how it works, right? If it does look good here, then I will hold a portion of my bags up to the next target, which would be $155,000 to about $175,000. If it looks good there, then I mean, I'll be taking profit on these levels no matter what, right? But depending on what the charts look like at the time, maybe I'll take a little bit of profit. Or maybe if it looks super bearish, I'll take a little heavier profit, right? But you'd also have to understand here, I'm holding from down here, right? If you buy here and you get up to, that's a 28% rip to 137K. Right, it's going to be harder for someone who's up 28%. It's going to be harder for them to take profit, right? Especially if they're trying to get rich in crypto, right? You're not going to do that with Bitcoin this cycle, in my opinion, right? At least if you're buying up here. You know, I actually literally had my uncle ask me, should I buy Bitcoin? And I said yes, but to be honest, unless you want to, I was like, I would wait. I would wait for a pullback, right? Because at the time we were peaking out, we were literally hitting the all-time high. And I'm like, I would wait for a dip, or maybe even just wait for the next cycle, right? Just like let things reset, because I was like, depending on, if you buy it now and you rip up to even $200,000, right? If you're buying it right now, you go to 200K, you get a 98% return. It's not bad, right? It's better than really any other asset class you're going to look at, but yeah, that's just kind of how we look at it, right? So we already got target number one. Is target number two going to get hit? I do think it is in the cards, especially when you start looking at the local targets that we have pulled off this local price action, right? You can see we have another fib level there at literally at 137K, right? So the local fib target is pointing there. The larger macro fib target is pointing there, right? So if we are going to put in a massive new all-time high, I would expect it to come in between 137 and 155K next. And then we'll reassess the situation and see if we can get the continuation. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Sob said, Giga Longbottom, thank you for that, Rob. Giga Longbottom asked, Frankie, at what point do we feel confident enough to say that we've reclaimed a value area? Shout out to Rob and shout out to Giga Longbottom. It's a great question. It really depends on the context of what you're doing, right? So, if you're trading volume profiles like the traditional way, which is very common in stocks and maybe Forex as well, a lot of things, like if you just look up a general like value area strategy, I kind of have my own twist on it. I've added my own confluences, etc. I'm kind of my own what fits me. But what a lot of people will do, right, for day trading is they will mark out the previous day's value area, which is very, very good, right? I think this is a very good way to do it, right? And I do it I do it very often. But like the traditional way is pretty much marking out the previous day value areas, right? So if you have a naked value area underneath you, the thought process is this isn't going to be accurate. I'm just going to draw a random volume profile here just to say, like, if this is your previous volume profile, it's just like pull it to here, right? And again, this is not accurate. I know this is not just, I don't know if this is one day, but it's definitely not. But let's say this is your previous day value area, right? A lot of what people will do, this is like free sauce, but what a lot of people will do, I'm probably saving you money buying somebody's course right now, but if this is your previous day value area, right? What a lot of people will do is they'll wait for a return into that previous value area. And this is what's called an 80% setup. It's a very common thing, right? I did not invent volume profiles. I did not invent value area trading. I did not invent auction market theory. This is obviously things that people have been using for years. But if you have a previous value area, once you get accepted in, and the question here is, how do you know if you're accepted? There's a few different ways you can look at it, right? A lot of people will look for like certain candle closures underneath here. I would say like a 1 hour candle closure in here would be looked at as acceptance. Now, I want to be clear. If you get, whatever it is, a 1 hour candle close underneath the value area high, 2 30-minute candle closes below the value area high, this will never guarantee that it's going to fill the whole range. But the thought process here is they literally call it an 80% setup, where if you close 230, different people look at different stuff, right? But like I think a common one would be 2 30-minute candles or a 1 hour candle close in here would be what you would want to start seeing, right? 30-minute candle closures, 1 hour candle closure, right? And then you can look at that as a acceptance into the range, right? Another thing you can look for is like if you come into that range, the thought process here is like once you get below that value area high and you start closing like significant candles, there's about an 80% chance that you will fill that volume profile in full, right? And it's actually funny because I do this often, guys. Even last night, right? Last night on Exo charts, I zoomed out, right? Let me turn off the sessions here, right? Last night, like your boy does this too. Went all the way back in bar replay mode, and I literally just watch price action, right? I have the previous day's volume profiles marked out, right? I'm not going to show this. Like, I mean, maybe I can. Maybe this will be worth it for some people. I don't want to give away too much sauce here. But yeah, like if you have previous volume profiles, for the most part, once you get accepted into that previous day volume profile, there's about an 80% chance, like right here, right? And for me personally, oh man, I just reset it. For me personally, it doesn't have to be the previous day. I look at previous profiles from years ago, right? And that's how we do a lot of this stuff. Right? When we have this macro volume profile from the all-time high in 2021, we use that exact strategy. This is not a previous day value area. This is like previous year's value area, right? But we know that once we get in there, rejection, once we get in there and we can hold support, and again, for me personally, it depends on the situation. Like in this case, I'm not looking for 2 30-minute candle closures. I'm not looking for a 1 hour candle closure, right? But for this, I'm just looking for, hey, money flow is coming up on the weekly. I'm starting to close weekly candles in here. This is a very large range. Once, we have money flow coming up, we close a weekly candle in there, it could be good, right? You can see the first attempt, we technically closed weekly candles in there, but money flow was kind of right? But here, money flow is coming into the green. Right? So once you get in there, there's about, in my opinion, right, I would say there's about an 80% chance that you go to the POC and then right up to the value area high, right? It's the same thing. But more commonly, like the traditional way to trade volume profiles is usually people are looking at the previous day, and then once you get accepted into that previous day value area, get a 1 hour candle closure. Even if you get a bearish retest, right? Like let's say this is your value area, you come in, you get a bearish retest, you get some kind of a bearish confirmation. That's sometimes where I look to take my entry. So there's many ways to do it. I would say the traditional way, if you like Google it, is probably going to be like 1 hour candle closures or something like that. But there's, it depends on what you look at, right? If I saw a 1 hour candle closure, right, as I'm coming down to a value area high, right, and I get a 1 hour candle closure in here, but I got like bull divs on the lower time frames, money flow coming up, like I'm probably not going to take that one as serious, right? But yeah, that's, a little bit of sauce on traditional volume profile trading. So there you go. I don't know why more people don't trade like this. I'm not going to lie. I saw someone on Instagram recently was getting interviewed on a yacht. And I don't know what it was. It was some I don't know. It was like some short form content. And the guy was on a yacht and someone came up to him and said, they were all traders. And he was like, what is the most slept on trading strategy? And the guy goes, oh, easy, value area trading. He goes, mark out previous day's value area. Once you get accepted back in, there's about an 80% chance that fills in full. And he's like, that's how you do it. And I was like, that was like the most simple and best explanation of the best trading strategy ever. And that's why I use it. So there you go. How likely is it that Bitcoin going to $1 million? Shout out to Genius. I think it's very likely, but over the very long term. I would not expect that this cycle. If we hit 150K, 200K, mark my words, people are going to be calling for $1 million Bitcoin. Don't fall for that. Hopefully it does, right? Hopefully I'm wrong about that, but I would not fall for that. Let's see. Shout out to Perry, says Tom Crown does it well too, but you, Frankie, really focus on TA on stream. Nobody else I know that streams is as focused. You got a niche for day trading. Yeah, shout out to Perry and shout out to Tom Crown. Tom Crown's awesome, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much, bro. I just like it, right? I could talk about this stuff all day. I do. But yeah, shout out to you, man. All right, let's continue on here. I'm going to take a look at a couple other altcoins as well. Shout out to David M. said, what's that there you're using with the replay and where do I get one? Shout out to David M. You could use bar replay mode on TradingView. You might need a paid account potentially, but you can use bar replay mode in I highly recommend you guys do this. This is like literally like going to the gym as a trader. If you want to test this, right, and don't take my word for it, right? I'll tell you not to listen to random people that say you're going to get rich overnight, but don't listen to me either, right? Go prove it to yourself. This is the only way you're going to build confidence in trading. If you're going to build confidence to put actual money on the line, you have to build that confidence yourself, right? And in my opinion, one of the only ways to do that is to click the bar replay mode, come to a random, or honestly, better yet, they now added this random bar, right? Just click a random bar, come back in bar replay mode, go to a lower time frame, right? And you could also, I'll mark out the previous day volume profiles right here, right? And maybe I could find a little setup that we could just kind of like look at. Changes today. Boom, right? So now it's going to mark out all the daily volume profiles. These volume profiles are marking out just 24 hours of price action, right? Every 24 hours, there's a new profile. New day starts, new profile. New day starts, new profile. New day starts, new profile, right? And you can see this. Come on. Oh, it's not going to print on here, I guess. Come on. Right? And you can also just do it manually, right? It might be easier for that, right? Go down to the 30-minute time frame, find a day, Friday the 16th, go to the beginning of that day, which is right here. Pull your volume profile until the 17th, which is right here, right? And there's your previous volume profile, previous day volume profile, right? Actually, pretty hilariously. This is at the bottom of the bear market, I believe. Yeah, I'm kind of ashamed that I know that on a 30-minute chart, but support. And then it just loses it. So terrible example here. But for the most part, I can almost guarantee you, eventually, when price does get back into that range, it will fill it in full. Environment and understanding your environment is very important as well, right? Like you can't just like get above a value area and expect it to fill, right? Like you have to take market structure into account. You have to take money flow into account. You have to understand what you're doing. It's never going to be that easy, right? But it simplifies trading. This is just garbage price action. This is, let me go to another random bar. Holy cow. Bitcoin at 400. Yeah, we're gonna have to go to a different bar. We can't do this. Get like a little bit. There we go. 2021. Right, and again, you don't have to do it with previous days either, right? Like you could say to yourself, well, hey, if we get back inside this volume profile up here, right? This is kind of how I do it. I don't always look at the previous day volume profile. And again, I don't want to spend a ton of time just like waiting to see, you know, it's going to take me a long time to like just let all this play out and stuff. But like any volume profile you can find, right? Like even mark this one out. I would go back in time, find the volume profiles, right? And I'll just pause this real quick, right? You have a previous volume profile here. This is just a previous area of value. So where price found fair value in the past. Once you reapproach that, resistance, once you get back in to the POC, and if you I'm not going to go down to a lower time frame. It's going to be impossible to find. But you get back in. Where do you go? To the value area high. Where do you get the rejection? Right from the value area high. You get back in, fulfill the range, and then a breakout. Where do you find support? Right on the value area high. You break back in, you get the bounce out, right? So it's go back in time, right? Pull your volume profile. And then that's not even assuming, right, that you're going to be trading the range as well, right? When you have your current volume profile, these oftentimes get respected for a long time. You deviate above the high, you have short opportunity. You deviate below the low, you have a long opportunity with the very high probability targets of the POC and the value area high. High probability targets of the POC and the value area low. Get stuck back in here. If you get the bearish confirmations up here expecting a move down, once you get in here, it's very high probability you fill that range. I'm probably going to make a new, somebody requested this yesterday for me to make a new volume profile tutorial. Maybe I will drop that. I'll try to drop that either this week or next week. But yeah, most undervalued thing. But go back in bar replay mode. Test this stuff, right? Prove it to yourself. All right, let's see. Let's continue on here. So we took a look at Ethereum. I mean, I'll take a quick look at XRP. To be honest with you guys, we're going to come out of bar replay mode. Oh, my God, XRP at 47 cents. Let's go ahead and jump in here to some other alts. I mean, XRP, like there's not a ton to update here on the alts, right? Like we were literally sitting up here yesterday. Down to the value area low, bullish divergences, get the bounce, POCs above, right? If we do come back down, key zone of support, value area low, down to the golden pocket, sitting here, $2 to $1.97. Lose that. 786 is your line in the sand. $1.83. Lose that. I'm looking lower. But right now, we're within our profile. And you can even see this in real time. Flip the value area low. Support, support, support. Next likely place for price to go, POC. Next place for price to go, once you get above the POC, value area high. Same thing. Lose the POC, go to the low. So for me, right, when I look at volume profiles, really what I look for is bearish confirmations, right? Like, so I see a 4-hour bearish divergence here, right? I'm already thinking price is going to come down, right? I don't really look at the candle closures that much, unless I'm trading them in the way that I just talked about when I'm looking at like a previous day volume profile. I'm looking for like a short day trade. Yeah, it'd be dope. It'd be super dope if that would load. Okay, there we go. So there you go, right? I have a 4-hour bearish divergence here as I deviate outside of the value, right? This is where I'm looking for shorts. I'm anticipating some kind of a move down, and I'm just increasing the probability that this move is going to be big by understanding that once I lose this value area high, I feel pretty good. I'm like, well, hey, I'm back in value, probably going to the POC. Then I can move that stop loss to break even. And then at that point, if we bounce off the POC and it stops me out, I make money. I've already locked money in. I've moved my stop loss to break even. And then if it continues to play out, I can simply target the value area low. What happens? Right to the value area low. Same thing at the low. Looking for a long, bullish divergence on the 4-hour. You could eventually target the value area high, right? But once you get to the POC, you could potentially take some profit off the table, move your stop loss to break even. In case you reject that POC, you'll stop out on profit, making it a guaranteed winning trade. And then if it continues, you can just easily target the value area high. Right, so I'm not necessarily saying like, hey, I closed a certain amount of candles in here. I'm just looking for the bullish confirmation with the context of the volume profile. So there's many ways to use them. But yeah, other than that, like, I mean, we have some 4-hour bear divs here. Money flow still in the green. Daily red dot looking to print. I mean, I would say, listen, like if you get a full retracement here, you could potentially work your way all the way down here to about 216 before I would start to get, concerned for a potential drop back down here to below the value area. So, I mean, I would say I would be okay with a push down to about 216 to 211. That wouldn't really hurt my feelings. I would look for a continuation up. See if I can... Yeah, guys, honestly, sometimes I'm embarrassed because I'm just like, that's probably the golden pocket pulled from this low, and it just happens. But, like, same thing here, right? You pull from the higher low to the high, and you're saying, well, hey, if we pull back here... I'm okay pulling back here, right? You have the golden pocket, value area low confluence, but we could still put a higher low in here, continuing the uptrend to push into the POC, right? So you could get something like that over here, right? Maybe you pull back to the golden pocket 786. I really wouldn't. If you lose this 786, I'd be looking down to the value area low golden pocket, right down here, closer to about $2. But you could potentially stick that. So watch that key level of support here. If we get the pullback off those 4-hour bear divs and the red dot on the daily, I'd be looking between 216 and 211. Lose that, down to about $2 where we have a bigger level of support. So there you go. There's XRP. Let's see. Just had some T-Bell chicken nuggets. Does Taco Bell have chicken nuggets? There's no way. Taco Bell's chicken nuggets now? Is that real? At Tony D, can you fact check that? Tony's Tony just like sends a picture of him at the Taco Bell drive-thru. Tony, does Taco Bell have chicken nuggets? I'm getting the Taco Bell chicken nuggets now. Should we do it? I think if Taco Bell really has chicken nuggets, I'm about to go there. Mrs. Candles? Squaw! She's calling me, guys. She's bird calling me. They do? You knew that Taco Bell had chicken nuggets and you didn't tell me? Oh, yeah, we don't eat Taco Bell? I would maybe you don't eat Taco Bell. Come here, Mrs. Candles. Let me sniff that hand. We're looking for a little pump on Bitcoin here. Can you get us a pump? Can you get us a pump? You're busy? Your hand's right here. Come on, let me sniff it. Let me sniff it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hang on. We got to pull up Bitcoin if we want it to pump. Hang on. Mrs. Candles, can you do me a favor? What do you think here? I want your opinion. I want your opinion. Going up? You think it's going up? I like that. What makes you say that?
Well, it goes up and then down, then up and then down, so next thing's up.
Okay, so you think the next thing is up? Let me take a sniff of this hand.
Up and down and up and down.
Okay.
It's gotta go up.
Okay, it's going up, guys. It's going up. Let me sniff this hand. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. He says, if you get them fresh, 7 out of 10. If not fresh, -1 out of 10. Shout out to Tony D. I appreciate the honesty. There's the Mrs. Candles hand in the chat. Guys, drop that Mrs. Candles hand in the chat right now if we want Bitcoin to pump. Let's see if we can get her to pump up into the golden pocket here at about 108,748. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get it. Mrs. Candles, you seem Mrs. Candles is just singing. She's just in all of her glory. I need to go to Taco Bell this week. Yeah, shout out to CandleMafia's John Cena, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and Dave Digital said Mrs. Candles' voice reveal. Did you guys hear that?
What did they say?
He just said he heard your voice probably for the first time ever.
No, they've heard it.
Shout out Mrs. Candles. That's her voice. That's her voice, guys. She's real. She's real. She doesn't just sound like squeaking plastic all the time. Mrs. Candles for the pump. Shout out to Mike Bennett. Let's see. If it does go down, what do you think? 1077? All right. We'll pull up some levels for you, Mrs. Candles. Let's see here. Oh, you need the VWAP? Oh, we'll give you the VWAP. All right, you got this volume profile right here. I'll give you the anchored VWAP. All right, you got the anchored VWAP. Okay. Money flow. All right, we'll give you. It can't go down. Why? VWAP. Science. Okay, so it's not going down, guys. Hashtag science. So what do you think? We get down here, we bounce, or you think we're gonna bounce from here?
No, we're gonna get down there and then bounce. Of course, you have to hit the level.
Okay. Oh, there we go, Mrs. Candles. She said, of course, we have to hit the level before we bounce. All right, I like it. Mrs. Candles, if we take that trade and we make money, you get to keep it. How about that?
Are you putting a short in? So it's about level?
No. I'm talking about a bounce. If we get that long, I'll let you keep the money.
You're gonna put a long in?
Maybe if we get down to that level. She's like, okay. Who is she kidding? She keeps all the money anyway. Anyway, let's continue on, guys. So we took a look at XRP. Let's go ahead and jump on into what? Am I? Oh, you're waiting for me to be done? Almost. We're almost there. Oh, it's okay. That's all right. Mrs. Candle said she's lonely. Let's see. She sounds nice. Make her say a curse word. Yo, Giga, that's crazy, bro. She seems so sweet. Make her curse. Tony D said she's so sweet. Let's hear her cuss. What the heck? Trust me, guys. She does curse. Shout out to Mr. Bling. Hey, Mrs. Candles, you want to come over here and drop an F-bomb real quick? She said no. I know we are family friendly. Hey, I'll bleep it out. Now she just said F no. Oh, God. Mr. Bling says, I drew Fibonacci retracement levels from 105.3 to 110 and the golden pocket around 107.1. The value area high February sits just below that price. Isn't that a strong level for a move back up? So 107.1? Yeah. I would say, like, just under this value area high, there is a lot of support, right? Honestly, running all the way down to 105K. Right, or 105.7 at the macro value area high. But if we pull the fib from the impulse to the high here, yeah, 107. I mean, this golden pocket sits at about 107.3 to 107.2. I mean, it is always going to be a zone. Support and resistance is always going to be a zone, right? So this value area high at 107.7, running down to the golden pocket 107.2, 107.212. Yeah, it's always going to be a zone, right? So if you're pulling a slightly different fib and it is somewhere close to that, right? Chances are, 107.1 is right underneath that, right? So chances are, if you do get down there, you might be able to get a little sweep, right? Tap that level, potentially come up. But yeah, I would say like this, either way, right? The 107.1 is somewhat confluent with that macro or current value area high. It's not until we start losing that, right? Even losing 106.5 at the 786 where I would be looking down towards the macro value area high, which sits right here. So, yeah. But, yeah, not too bad. Shout out to Mr. Bling. All right, let's see. Shout out to Big Huggies. Said pamp it. Let's go. Who wears the polyester plaid pants in the family? Shout out to Mike Bennett. I don't even know what that means. Polyester plaid pants. Man, I should buy a pair of those. Plaid goes hard. But anyway, let's continue on. Family friendly. Does she know about the other lady Candles? Shout out to Gig Along Bottom. I don't know if she knows about Mrs. Candles. Hit the VWAP. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Let's see here. Let's just go local here on Bitcoin real quick. All right. So we did get a nice little 15-minute bull div printing, 30-minute green dot printing. Technically a bull div as well. Where's that golden pocket that we just pulled? Would have really liked that 1 hour SFP at all. Yeah, and a little 1 hour SFP sitting here. Money flow, though. Understand this, right? You hit the golden pocket. You technically have an SFP. You have some low time frame bullish divergences. However, your money flow is crossing over into the red on the 1 hour. Why don't we like that, guys? 16-hour red dot, right? So could this be local support? Yes, I would say, but I would still favor 107.7. That would be the bigger level, right? Which does bring you down towards that 786 in confluence with the previous value area high. All right, so could be a local level of support, but again, I would say the bigger level down here because previous value area high, 786. Dude, am I hallucinating? Why is this NPOC disappearing every single time I put it on the chart? I think it's 107.712. Why does that keep disappearing? 107.712. Is it going to stay there? Hopefully it stays there. Okay. So you have the daily MPOC, the 786, and the value area high. So I would just classify that as a better level, in my opinion, right? It's just like a stronger level. It doesn't guarantee you're going to get down there, but then you start looking at the 1 hour money flow crossing over into the red, right? So maybe this gets a little bit of a bounce before coming down here to the bigger level. I would love that, right? Yeah, a little bit of a local bounce here. Like I said, Mrs. Candles wanted it to pump up to about 108,767. Maybe you come up for that local golden pocket retracement, and then you come back down to that bigger level. No guarantee we come down there. It's just a more confluent level. So I would just look at that as a little bit of like an honorable mention, right? Maybe get a little bounce, but for me personally, I favor this level a little bit more. So there you go. All right, let's see. Market, shout out to CandleMafia's John Cena said market makers playing that Reindeer Games? Shout out to CandleMafia's John Cena. Flat Smack in the chat. Welcome in, Flat Smack. Welcome in. Good to see you in here. But let's see here. We got a little lower. Shout out to Dar. Yeah, I would personally prefer this level for the big bounce, right? Or a bigger bounce. Really depends. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Turn that into golden pocket. Turn this golden pocket. So we'll see what happens here, right? Now, if we did get a move up here, we start flipping the 786, get reclaimed into this value area, maybe we get a bigger push up. For me personally, guys, for my bigger trades, right, I am waiting for this value area high to look for. I'm not just like, oh my God, he's looking for a long here. Let me set a limit order at all, right? If I get confirmations down here, I'm not going to take the trade. But this daily MPOC and then the potential liquidity we have sitting above this wick, I'm just waiting to come above these highs or down here towards the value area high. But let's see if these 30-minute bullish divergent or 30-minute green dot and bull div technically can give us a little bit of a push up. 1 hour green dot also looking to print, but again, money flow indicates the overall trend, right? The green dot on the 1 hour says maybe a bounce, but the money flow says overall continuation to the downside is more likely. Not guaranteed, but more likely. Let's see, 45-minute green dot. What's that 3-minute money flow doing? 3-minute money flow in the green. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe get a little continuation up here for a push. Let's see. Could this be a regular flat correction? Shout out to Chucks. I'm not sure exactly. Like, you're talking about this, or are you talking about like on a higher time frame? Let me know. But not really a huge Elliott wave guy, by the way. Not because they don't work. It's just you can only use so much stuff before it starts to become too much information. But I wouldn't classify myself as like an Elliott wave expert. When I feel I'm an expert in something, and I'll give you the information. But to be honest, I might not even be the best person to ask for like the most accurate stuff when it comes to Elliott waves, at least. Shout out to Genius says, does anybody ever wonder why there will only be 21 million Bitcoin? Shout out to Genius. I don't know. 8-hour long stream printing. Yo, shout out to Jesse. Says, oh, shoot. It's a Frankie 8-hour live stream looking to print. Yeah, shout out to Flatsmack because it's coded that way. Yeah, shout out to Genius. And shout out to Flatsmack. Let's see. Or are you saying, like, you wonder why they picked 21 million? Like, how do you choose that number? I don't know. Let's see. All right, so let's continue on here. Took a look at XRP. I mean, I'll be honest, guys, like a lot of the altcoins look very similar. We got a couple minutes left here. Let's see. Litecoin. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Shout out to Sarah Ball. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys, if you appreciate all this free sauce that we've given on this live stream and every live stream we've ever done. Giving it all away for free, baby, for the Mafia. But let's see. LTC. Okay, I think we looked at Litecoin yesterday, no? Getting above the, what was yesterday? The 10th? Yeah, yesterday was the 10th. All right, so we can get rid of this daily MPOC. We got above it, flipped it to support. I would, to be quite honest with you, right? Litecoin is one of those, yeah, we're just still within the bear market range, right? Key levels down below, I would say, still remain the same. We held this daily very, very nicely. We're back above this anchored VWAP. The only thing with Litecoin is the fact that we are technically, yeah, we front ran. Or actually, let me see this real quick. Where's this pulled from exactly? No, I actually like that. You know, I like the pull that I have. I listen, I would say, I mean, you're within your bear market range, right? If you think Litecoin's going to pump in some form or fashion, we're just bing-bonging around between the bear market range, and then you have this little local range above, which we rejected previously. We're technically approaching from the high here. I'm just going to give you the local levels here on Litecoin. This is all. So, yeah, we came down, rejected the 786. Listen, I would say if you get stuck under this POC, you could still potentially see these support levels come in. This anchored VWAP would be very nice to hold above. If you could hold above this anchored VWAP sitting right now at about 88.58, this would be a potential sign that you can get the continuation up. I just don't love this in the way that we have, like volume profile wise, this is kind of messy. Let's hide some of this stuff. Right, if I'm just looking at this from a volume profile perspective, right? We got back into the range, lost the POC, front ran the low, back to the high, back below the POC. If we can't get back above this POC, you could be on your way, maybe not to the value area low, but you could be on the way to those local support levels, which I'll bring back up in a second. But, I mean, I would say, did you hold a local? Yeah. This one's kind of hard, to be honest. You definitely, next key level to get above is this POC. That could open up the door to about $1.01.45. And then that's your key level of resistance, right? Break above that, you have an opportunity to break into this upper value. If I bring back up those other levels, this is just your full golden pocket retracement. So if we lose this POC, these would be the next two key levels of support. So let's say you do get a rejection at this POC, you push back down, golden pocket daily MPOC, lose the golden pocket, look to the 786 MPOC. These both have pretty nice confluence. I'm going to get this daily off the chart. It is important to know that that is what we bounced off of. So I'm going to take that off. So I would say, hey, you lose this anchored VWAP, you're probably coming down here. Once you lose this 786 daily MPOC, looking down towards the value area low, which technically would make sense. Get back into the range, lose the POC, back to the high, lose the POC eventually for the full fill if you are going to tap that value area low. That isn't potentially could happen, right? 3-day money flow in the red. Overall, though, see what that 2-day money flow does. This is kind of hard, honestly. Of all things, Litecoin, just a little bit. I would definitely watch these key levels. 79.89 to 76.20, and then that next level sits here at about 72.40 and 70.01. Lose that, looking down towards the value area low. If you hold this POC, next key level, going to be 102.2, 102.02. But we'll see. Yeah, kind of just in no man's land here, in my opinion. And then long term, I would say for much bigger moves up, obviously you do have your bull market range high here from the 2021, which sits all the way up here, which obviously you are pretty far away from. But boom, 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 right? So your overall ranges, right? Even if I get rid of this local range, your biggest ranges here, right, to simplify things, if you're looking at like long term, you're thinking about buying Litecoin spot, you're in your bear market range. If this thing breaks out, you're going to get attracted to this value area, right? Previous value area. Acted as resistance at first here, but based off of your overall, let me hide some of this stuff as well, just to clean up the chart. I don't want anything being too confusing here. I know there's a lot of levels on the chart right now, but if you pull from your low here to the high. Whoops. There you go. You held your 786 retracement level, right? So you have your low, your high, your higher low, which came in on the golden pocket 786. If you break out of this value area, I would say there's a higher chance here, a higher chance than when you first approached this value area to break out, right? Because you have the low, the higher low came in on your 786, and then the overall anticipation from market structure perspective would be a break of structure of these highs, which would also mean that you're reclaiming this previous area of value, which would make the next likely place for price to go, the POC at $180, right? And then maybe get some turbulence, and you continue the range to fill that in full. So I would say overall right now, I don't hate the way this looks, right? And if you've been accumulating Litecoin down here, as long as there is some kind of an alt season and we see things take off in some form, right, I would say like break structure to the upside could be very in the cards if you could break out of this volume profile. Could you come up here and get rejected again? Maybe. But, again, based off the fact that you put this higher low in, the next anticipated thing here would be break of structure to the upside. Oops. Pull it up on a weekly time frame. Maybe a monthly time frame. Yeah, so like you pull this up on a high enough time frame, right? You have your bullish change of character, your candlesticks turn green. At that point, you're saying, hey, you broke structure, you have the change of character to the upside. This indicates that the trend may be changing from, generally bearish / sideways to potentially the upside, right? Once you see these changes of character, these candlesticks turn green, that is where you're looking for higher lows and higher highs, kind of similar to a money flow crossover. And then where would you be looking for the higher low? You'd be looking on your golden pocket 786, which, as you can see, did end up happening. All right, so once you see these green candles, you're looking for pullbacks, but you're looking for higher lows. That's where your higher low would likely come in at, right here. A golden pocket 786, full retracement. So if that is the case, the next anticipated thing would be a break of structure to the upside based off market structure. So there you go. That's what I would look at on Litecoin. A little bit of sauce there. Let's see. Shout out to Cato, says November 10th is when the event is going to happen. Just look it up. What is going to happen on November 10th? Everyone was waiting for the T Corona Borealis to erupt, and that's when you'll see XRP pass the moon, baby. XRP Army, let's go. Shout out to Cato. Let's go. Hopefully we can get XRP moving. It is really funny, right? Like, if we just pull up XRP real quick. It's like, again, I'm not one of those people that is in the camp of XRP going to $10,000. You'll never see me call for that. Listen, I'm not saying I don't want it to go to $10,000. I hope that happens. But it is funny. It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm up on my XRP, right? I've been patient with my XRP. Everybody hates on XRP, or a lot of people. I mean, actually, no. I wouldn't say everyone hates on XRP. It's like you either love XRP or you hate XRP. I'm kind of in the middle. To me, it's all charts. It's all assets. It's all money, right? It's all buying low, selling high, right? That's all it is for me. But, excuse me, I think it's actually not great to be very there's a very tribal nature in crypto, and I think this is very dangerous, right? A lot of people like to hold on to stuff because of the tribal nature of it. I'm not saying the XRP Army does that. I think there is a tribal nature to XRP. But, you know, a lot of people say, like, know what you hold, right? Like, if you're holding it because you believe in the technology, that's why I hold it. But listen, like, if I thought XRP was going to zero, I'm selling my bag. I'm not gonna hold it just because I'm like, I want to be a part of the team. I am bullish. I do think we can get a big pop up here. You know, as long as we get some kind of an alt season, I do think XRP can head upwards of between $5 and $15 at first, right? Like, that's where I'd be looking at. If we get up to $15, it looks like it's going to pass it. We'll find those upper targets. But yeah, I mean, hey, hopefully it does pump. I don't know what that event you're talking about is or how high it's supposed to go. But hopefully it brings us up to $5 to $15. That'd be very nice. Let's see. Remember the 10th of November. Let's go. Shout out to John Boy. Said, Frank, I'm in a ZBCN short. Can you take a look? ZBCN. Let's see here. We looked at this not too long ago. I don't remember exactly when. ZBCN short. For me personally, I would say, I mean, my bias here, right? Now, again, this is not financial advice. John Boy, you should not make a decision based off what I'm about to say. You can use this and add it into your analysis. I would not say, for example, if I said, oh, my God, this thing's going to go to the moon, that does not mean close your short, right? You have to make your own financial decisions. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some crazy guy that screams into a camera on YouTube. But I would say, I would have preferred to take the short only because you tested this value area low. You tested this value area low with bullish divergences, get above the low, POC. You're above the POC now. Technically, I would have to look at the value area high as the next target. That does not mean, I don't know the context of your short. Again, a lot of people ask me to, like, review their trades. It's very hard for me to understand, like, if I don't know your full plan. Maybe you just took, like, a little scalp short here and you're looking to take profit at the POC. Or maybe you're looking to take this down to zero. I don't know. But for me personally, I would say at some point, right, it is going to be more likely to come up to that value area high. You do have your 30-minute VWAP coming up. Looking for a green dot. See what the 4 hour is doing. 4 hour VWAP is pretty overextended. Yeah, I listen, I would say just based off the volume profile, it doesn't mean you can't continue down here before going up to the value area high. I would just prefer, if I were to short this, I would prefer to come up to the value area high to look for the short. I'd be sitting on my hands waiting for the value area high, but at the end of the day, sometimes that ends up being a missed move, right? Like sometimes you don't get that value area high hit. It's not often, but when it does happen, you miss that short, right? So for me personally, I would have waited for the value area high. Doesn't mean that your trade is bad. Let's see. I mean, you did have 15-minute bearish divergences, right? Higher highs, lower highs. I like that, right? I don't know where exactly you're short from. Maybe you said that. Let's see. Shout out to Dab and Flow. I don't know if I'm going to have time for Uni tonight, but if you go to yesterday's live stream, I did cover Uniswap in full. If you want to check that out. I'll try to check it out tomorrow, but we did check it yesterday. Safe Moon to the moon. Shout out to Mr. B. Is Safe Moon still around? I bought Safe Moon the second day it came out. It was one of the only coins, and I never sold it, right? Like, I've said this many a times. Worst trade I ever made. $100 in Safe Moon turned into like 15 or 20K. Held it down to zero. But I never sold it. I still do hold it. So, hey, Safe Moon to the moon. That guy went to jail, though, I think. My stop loss is in profit. It's about to hit. So still a win. Shout out to John Boy. Let's go, baby. A+ review on that trade then. And because it's the discipline, right? That discipline's going to make you more money than a fire setup will ever, right? Maybe you saw the 15-minute bearish divergence. Maybe that's what made you take the trade. Maybe you took profit and you move your stop loss into profit. If it gets hit and you won and you got money, awesome. And again, it doesn't guarantee just because I would wait for the value area high doesn't mean it's guaranteed to get in there. But yeah, nice trade, bro. Nice. You made money. That's the point of the game. Let's go. Shout out to John Boy. Congratulations, bro. Let's see. Okay. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the chat. Welcome in, bro. Thank you for being here. Says nobody doesn't like Frankie, so smash that like button for him. Smash that like button, guys. 1,000 likes. I'm gonna be giving away my dirty socks that I'm wearing right now. I haven't changed them in 3 weeks. It's kind of my thing. I just don't change my socks. I just wear them for weeks at a time. So we will be giving them away if we hit 1,000 likes. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on. Shout out to Genius says, does anybody know a platform I can use for holding a trade without the contracts expiring? You can use perpetual contracts on a lot of exchanges. I like Femex, Blowfin. And we will be covering Antarctic Exchange as well, which is decentralized. You don't have to we'll cover that. I'll cover it a little bit more in future videos and live streams. Probably more videos, but yeah. I just use perpetual contracts. I would say Femex or Blowfin. We have links in the description down below. We will get a kickback. It is an affiliate link. But if not, I'd still recommend them. That's where I trade most of the time. You can keep the socks. He said, I want the blow-off valve thing. Yo, I don't even know. I got to get that thing charged back up. Shout out to K Diggity. But anyway, we're going over time here, guys. But I will check out. Somebody just asked for AVAX. And I think, yeah, let's take a look at AVAX real quick. I saw a couple people asking that. And let's see. Frankie's OnlyFans. Let's go. Yo, shout out to 12 Big said, remove the likes. We don't want them feet smelling. Shout out to Big 12 Big. Yeah, it's Frankie's Only Feet. Yeah, it depends. It depends. Usually, I usually won't watch them until there's stuff growing out of them. Free Frankie Candles OnlyFans prescription. Subscription with the purchase of premium Discord. Link in description down below. Absolutely. Shout out to Gig Along Bottom. Let's go. Captain Soggy Socks is crazy. All right, let's take a look at AVAX here. Nice. Push into. This is another one that we looked at. There were a lot of altcoins that look very similar to this. Back here on, I think it was was it Tuesday? I guess it was Tuesday. As we were looking to, let me pull up the 8-hour real quick, right? We had this VWAP rolling over. I covered this yesterday as well, right? We had the VWAP rolling over. Look at a print a red dot right as we were peaking out here. And we had key support down below. You had the value area low. We had a daily, which is now tapped, and then you have the daily MPOC and the golden pocket, right? Very key level of support. When you see price making a lower high like this, looking to roll over and print a red dot on a time frame like a 4-hour or an 8-hour or any time frame you're looking at, and you have the momentum waves looking like this, free sauce, very high probability, right, that you could, right? You could front run the bullish divergence, right? Saying, well, hey, if this rolls over and we get another drop to the downside and we put a lower low, we have key support down below, we would get a lower low on our price action, and then we would get a higher low on our momentum waves. That gives you an 8-hour bull div. And this is what we looked at on Tuesday, saying if you get those 8-hour bull divs on the altcoins, you might be able to get a bounce, right? What happens? You get the push into key support, you print the 8-hour bull div, and you get the bounce. I don't say this to brag. I don't say this to say, oh my God, we're always right. Nothing like that, right? I'm just showing this to teach, right? Because you could see this stuff too. And I just like to show that it works, right? You know, could you put in the bull div and got a dump? Sure, right? But more often than not, when you see those confirmations into a key level of support, not just any random divergence, right? It has to be into those key levels. And a macro golden pocket, a value area low, very key levels, right? You get the bounce. We're now living above the POC of the range, which sits right here. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Bada boom, right? Hold above this POC at about $21, I would say. Could potentially continue up. I don't love that 8-hour money flow coming back out. Excuse me. 8-hour red dot printing. Let's check the 30-minute money flow. 30-minute money flow also continuing down here. So I would say your key support down below is $21 at the POC. But with your 30-minute money flow coming out and your 8-hour red dot printing, could get a little bit more of a continuation, right? If that 8-hour red dot, which is going to confirm in 21 minutes, if you get the 30-minute money flow crossover while this prints, you might be able to continue down. POC is key support. Technically, if you lose the POC, you'd be looking back down to the value area low, but that doesn't really, I don't really vibe with that, to be honest, right? You already can't, you just got the strong bounce from the value area low. So let me pull some fib levels here. So the biggest level to look at, in my opinion, I would watch, let me hide some of this stuff. Take that tap daily off the chart. Man, look at that daily. Tapped it and went. So I would say like this, if you lose the POC, biggest levels, POC is support. If you lose that, I'd be looking down to the golden pocket, value area low, 786, right? You don't really want to lose that 786 locally. You have the daily MPOC down here at 1826, but I would say if you do continue down off that 30-minute money flow, POC would be where you're looking for the bounce. Lose the POC, I'm looking to come down here to the fib zone at about 2010 to 1938. And that is what I'd be looking at on AVAX. Let's see. Number one bear div, Frankie giving his socks. Shout out to 12 Big. Let's see. Frankie selling his socks is a clear top indicator. Shout out to Chucks. It's all over. It's all over. Somebody buy my socks. I lost all my money in crypto. I need socks. I need socks. I need to sell my socks. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital said, Frankie Candles, will you tell us what to expect in someone else's opinion next time? Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Can I tell you what to expect in someone else's opinion? Shout out to Dave Digital. I don't know exactly what that means. Shout out to Dave. Let's see. I love this community. Shout out to 12 Big. Yeah, this is the only community that would buy Frankie Candles used socks. I'm kidding, guys. I do wash my socks. I wash them every 2 weeks. I don't actually not wash them for a month. I wash them every 2 weeks like a normal person. That's how I trade, guys. That's how I make money trading, right? If you're not trading with dirty socks, I know you're not making money, right? You need that. I'm just going to cut that joke right there. But anyway, can you take a look at NVIDIA? Shout out to Irving Rocks. Let's see here. Sorry, I got socks on my mind, guys. I hope Mrs. Candles doesn't find my Feet Finder account. Anyway, I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Dave said, last time you said, can you tell us, I'll tell you what to expect in my opinion. Shout out to Dave Digital. So in someone else's opinion, guys, alt season right now, it's never going back down. Get rich overnight. It's going up 1,000,000% right now. That is in someone else's opinion. Shout out to Dave Digital. Tell us in Peter shift mode, buy gold. But anyway, moment of silence for my brain. What are we looking at? What did I just say I was going to look at? NVIDIA. There we go. All right, we'll take a look at NVIDIA. We'll just end this chaotic stream. This was a chaotic stream, but it's fun. I like it. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Oh, man, this thing's going to zero. I'm just kidding. But let's see here. So last time we looked, I assume we were somewhere here, deviating below the volume profile, looking for a potential reclaim and a push up towards the high. Didn't quite make it to the value area high. Turn on the Heikinashi candle so we get a little clearer view of this. Would be the same thing here, right? It's like the same thing we were looking at on the SPY, right? We looked at this yesterday, which obviously looks very similar. We're above the POC, right? And let me pull up NVIDIA. Yeah, I mean, they're very similar, right? Just within those upper profile. I mean, obviously. But yeah, flip that value very low here on NVIDIA. I mean, hey, next major target, in my opinion, would be value area high right here, 148.90. POC sits right here. This would be your key level of support as of right now. All right, you can just see this works on stocks too, right? This works on anything. Gold works on anything. Get above the value area low, flip it to support, POC. Get above the POC, start to work your way up to that value area high. This sits at 148.90. You do have some 8-hour bearish divergences confirmed here, but I would say your key level of support here is at the POC, which sits at 138.12. If you're able to hold that as support, I mean, that keeps the doorway open to getting up to that value area high. If you lose the POC, technically your next stop would be the value area low, unless you hold your retracement levels, which would be, yeah, I mean, it's already really close to the value area low. So I would just look at this, right? So you have your POC of the range. You have your, all right, I can't mark out the value area low because it won't let me click it. Got your value area high there. There you go, value area low. Boom. So 130.39 is your value area low. POC 138.12. Value area high 148.90. So I would say, yeah, you hold above that POC. Doorway remains open to the value area high. Let's check the daily. Yeah, daily bear div as well, right? So you might be able to cool off there a little bit. And again, I'm not a big stock guy. Yeah, I mean, you can even see here, right? You got a daily bear div. Lower highs, higher highs. Dip down to the POC. You shot back up to the value area high still. So, you know, definitely possible. I would say even potentially more likely. If that daily bear div pushes you down, you hold the POC, you come up to the value area high. Let's check the weekly real quick. Weekly red dot incoming. This is really the only thing on the charts on anything that look like somewhat sketchy. But monthly green dot printing and 2-day money flow crossing into the green, right? The stocks look very similar to crypto, obviously, right? We all know stocks track traditional finance. There's just no way around that. I wish there was, but there just really isn't. Let's go stocks, baby. Shout out to Dr. BTC. Let's go. 1,000 likes for the socks. 1,000 likes for the socks. 1,000 likes for the stocks. Let's get it. Yo, 12 Big said I'm going to rotate some of my money into socks, not stocks. Me too. Invest in stocks. I mean, socks. Anyway, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart for hanging out with us here on the Frank Candles live stream. Hopefully you guys found some value in this. If you did, smash that like button. If you appreciate these daily live streams, yeah, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you do not miss these live streams, urgent market updates, the key levels, the trading plans. Don't miss it, guys. It's all free sauce. But thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Tonic says, what do you think about the Ethereum CME gap at 29 to 3,300? Thank you, bro. I think there's a macro golden pocket right up near that zone between 3,000 and 3,150. That's kind of where I'm looking for price to go next, as long as we don't break the POC of the range. If you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, I covered Ethereum in full. You can get the full sauce there. But yeah, shout out to 12 Big. What a vibe tonight. Shout out to 12 Big. Thank you for being here. You added to the vibe. Shout out to Kalia. Shout out to Silent Q, Michael Anthony. Shout out to Jesse, our light police, James, Servando Estrada, our mods, guys. Drop some love for the mods in the chat, and I'll see you guys here, same place, same time, tomorrow night, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. I love you all. See you tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to Kalia. Wanted to see Mudang key levels. I just tried to mark out all of these super quickly behind the scenes here. I will pull up your monthly levels. I mean, these are pretty far away. Your next key monthly is at about 35 cents to the upside, 3 cents to the downside. Your daily levels are sitting right here. Feel free to screenshot these, Kalia. We're going to do a speed tour here real quick. Those are your daily levels right here. I'm not going to read them out to save time. Feel free to pause the video. And then we got the weekly levels, which are still sitting much lower at about 3 cents and 2 cents. And then I will pull up some NPOCs here as well. Maybe I'll try to pull a volume profile for you. Not much of a volume profile to pull. But I will give you just the key NPOCs. And then maybe we'll take a look at the actual volume profiles tomorrow on the live stream for Mudang, because people have been asking for that. So let's see here. We got a weekly NPOC right here sitting at about, that's a daily. It's pulled up as a weekly. 13 cents. You got another weekly MPOC sitting right here at about 25 cents. And then you got one all the way down here at about 2 cents. And your monthly MPOCs, you got one right up here, just above that wick at about 24 cents. And then you got one all the way down here at about 2 cents. Boom. Then we'll pull up the daily MPOCs, which are kind of all over the place. I'm not, God. I'll just give you the closest daily MPOCs, or I'll give you a couple. I'm not going to mark out every single one here just because there's so many of them. Daily MPOC sitting here at 27. Got another one sitting right down here at about 6 cents. And then you got another one up here at about 40 cents, and then one more up here at about 51 cents. And then one down here at about 3 cents. So there you go. If I were to pull volume profiles on this, I would be doing it. There we go. You have a range right here. Volume profile. Maybe pull it to there. Yeah, I mean, you could just see this is kind of where you got the rejection from. Tap that value area low. Got your low, your POC, your high. So yeah, came into that value area low, couldn't get accepted, getting the pullback here. Yeah, you don't really have a significant range down here. I'm not going to pull anything there. And then I guess technically you could pull this as a volume profile. Not really the cleanest thing, but you guys can just see that current volume profile. High, low, high. Back above the high, back in, rejection, POC low. Now you're potentially getting rejected out of here. But those are the key levels I would look at. Let me just hide this volume profiles, put them in a folder. And then maybe we'll look at this. I'll look at this a little bit more in depth on tomorrow's stream. But there you go. Those are some volume profiles. There's your daily MPOCs. There's your monthly MPOCs, your weekly MPOCs, your monthly horizontals, your dailies, and your weeklies. Shout out to Kalia. Fast and quick and dirty on Mudang there. But with all that being said, that's probably one of the longer fake outs that we've done recently. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Smash the like button on the way out. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the